Hi, my name's Peter Walker, and I have one problem. I snore. Yeah, you know the problem when, as a man, you have to sleep on the sofa because you make too much noise in the bedroom. Yeah, that's me. That happens to me. And I went out looking for something to do. I've tried all kinds of things about what to do. And, you've got, of course, things you put in your ears, and you've got straps and all kinds of stuff. And, well, yeah, none of it worked. Then I found this company on Indiegogo called QuietOn. Now, QuietOn, I've got something interesting. Now, it doesn't stop me snoring, but there are little earpieces which reduce the noise by 40 decibels, which is a lot. And that allows my wife, basically to sleep through the night. That's basically the idea. And that I can also have a nice rest without being nudged and kicked out of bed. That's the whole concept of it. Anyway, I happened to bump into QuietOn in Cologne, and I'm sitting next to me is Julia, who works for QuietOn, and she's here all the way from Finland, although she's actually German. And we're going to talk about these products. So welcome, Julia.
Thank you. So as Peter already mentioned, I work for QuietOn. I'm doing PR there, but since we're a very small company, only about 3 years old actually, no, 4 already. So the idea came up in 2015. We're a very small team still, so everyone kind of does everything. So my job is to take care of the text, but also to do translations and social media, and that's me.
That's right. So I understand you're quite a linguist, that you don't just speak English and German, you also speak other languages?
I also speak Spanish and Portuguese and some French, some Italian, and now I'm learning Finnish since I'm living in Finland.
Right. Yeah. Well, obviously, if you're living in Finland, then Finnish. Now, I've never been to Finland. I must admit that. But so, what's it like in Finland?
Well, so I've been there for about 2.5 years now, and I have to say that now I do really feel at home there. And even though I still come back to Germany every once in a while for fairs, for example, and I have my family here, obviously, but I do consider Finland my home right now. And it can be very cold and dark in the winter, as you would probably imagine. Very snowy as well.
Yes.
Background here.
Yes, that's why the background.
Yeah. But it is definitely a very beautiful country. People are very friendly, and I do like living there. Yeah.
So tell me, how did QuietOn start? I mean, what brought about the start of the company?
Well, actually, because our founders, they are from Finland, and they have been working at Nokia actually, and so our founder, he has been traveling a lot due to his job, and when he was at the airport, it was very noisy there, and he realized that he was really, craving for the quietude from his hometown, Kuhmo, which is a small place in Finland, and so then, he was standing in this electronics shop and tested headphones actually, and then he thought, well, QuietOn or the quietude must really be imported to airports, airplanes, just to also have the silence there available, and not only in a small village somewhere in the middle of Finland. So That's how the idea came up, and that was the original concept behind the first product. So to make flying a more pleasant experience and traveling on the train, and
Yeah, that's right. I've seen pictures of the first version, and now I became aware of it when I was sort of looking for sleep things, and I looked on Indiegogo, and I found the QuietOn campaign. And now I was lucky because I caught it right at the beginning of the campaign. So I read through it. I liked the concept, and I could get the double pack at a really low price. I'm not going to say how low, because otherwise I'll make people angry who didn't get that. But let me say, I think it was a good deal. Now, It's taken longer than planned to produce it, but that is very typical of crowdfunding. And so now we're in March 2019, and they're due for delivery during April, we hope.
Yeah. So that's what we're targeting, but we do keep you updated on the production process and the delivery process. So
if there, any doubters out there, I've seen them, they exist, they're here.
Yeah, we have them here.
Right, there it is, yes, right on the camera, yeah?
Yeah, well, this is the prototype still, but
is it a working prototype or
it
not?
Is.
It's a working prototype.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you can see the tiny button here, which you press to change between the silent and the hearing mode, actually.
Right.
And you can see that it's very tiny, so it fits very well into your ear. We have the different sizes of the ear tips as well, because obviously every ear is different. So every ear size.
Some people have larger ears.
Exactly.
Some people have smaller ears.
Yeah. And this is the charging case, so you can charge them with micro USB. And here, this is where the earplugs are connected to the case. So you charge them for about 45 minutes, and then the battery lasts for about 20 hours, actually.
Yeah,
single charge.
I think 20 hours is a decent hour. I mean, you don't get a night which is that long.
Yeah, no.
But
most likely not.
It reminds me, when I fly to Australia, which I do occasionally, then 20 hours is about the time you're in the aeroplane. So it would theoretically last for a flight to Australia. Now, one tip I've heard about that is if you want it nice and quiet, you put those on and noise-reducing headphones, and then you can really cut down the noise, because one is not enough to kill it totally, because the plane is pretty loud.
Yeah, and also I think there is no device in the world that can produce 100% of silence, but these are specifically for low frequencies, such as, for example, snoring noises.
That's right. So
noises.
So you can it cuts out the snoring, but it doesn't cut out your wife complaining to you that yours.
And also the alarm clock, because at some point you have to wake up in the morning.
Yeah,
right? So
that's right.
very important.
Now that could be a disadvantage, actually. Sometimes you want to sleep in.
Yeah, maybe on the weekend, but then you shouldn't put your alarm as well. So
well, yes, but sometimes alarms have the problem that they're hated by everybody.
Yeah, could be.
So can you tell us about the technical specifications of these devices? What can they do?
Yeah, so the concept behind it is this active noise cancellation technology. So there's a microphone in there which kind of samples the snoring noise in this case, and then an anti-noise is created to block out the original noise. So that's basically the concept behind active noise cancellation. And here I actually have one transparent earplug as well, where you can see the battery in there, and just the whole technology in there. So it's very complex, and a lot which has to fit in this tiny earplug. But
So the decibel reduction is given at 40. Is that throughout the spectrum, or because 40 decibel is quite a big reduction?
Yeah, it is. As already mentioned, it's specifically for those low-frequency noises.
Yes, those are snoring noises.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what they're specialized for or optimized for.
Yeah.
And so they can cancel up to 40 decibel. Especially with those low frequencies, they're much more powerful than foam earplugs, for example.
Yeah.
Because that's one question that we get asked a lot. So why can't we just buy, a couple of packages of those foam earplugs? But they're not as powerful, particularly in that range of frequencies, as the QuietOn earplugs.
Yeah, when I was looking at the market for such devices, I not only found QuietOn, I found, for example, other ones which have sort of stainless steel earplugs, which they claim are going to be better, but when I looked at the specs, they didn't get anywhere near 40 decibels. So I think if you want to really reduce the noise, then the QuietOn is going to be the thing to go for.
Yeah.
Apart from reducing snoring noises, what are other practical applications? Where else would this be a good thing to use it?
Well, it could be used, for example, at the office, you know, when you want to focus on your work, and because you have this option to switch between the two modes. So if you need just, you know, like your personal space in a big office or something like that, then you can press the button and then you can focus. But then you press it again and then you can talk again with your colleagues. So that could be one option, for example, and then obviously also for the traveling purpose. So you know, if you really need to rest at an airport, or also during the flight,
or a train, or in a car, or anything like that. Although I think in a car, not if you're a driver, but if you're a passenger in a car, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How well has it been received? What has been the reaction from people who've heard about these products?
Well, I mean, we've been to a couple of exhibitions right now, and people obviously love the idea behind it, because there are so many people suffering, or especially, if you're in a relationship and then one of the partners is snoring, it's a very common problem, and it's a worldwide problem, a global problem.
Yeah.
So there is the need for it, for sure, and. Well, I personally have tested it. It works for me.
Right.
So, yeah.
What, you mean you can't hear your own snoring, or?
No, but for example, when we were traveling to Las Vegas,
yes.
We were staying at a hotel. You know, so that's also one use case for sure. You know, if you're at a noisy hotel, where
or if maybe a railway line outside outside the hotel door or window or whatever, Yeah, so I could certainly think, I mean, one thing I thought of maybe as a possible market would be like people who are building, or builders who have lots of noise, although maybe the noise reduction is not enough for them.
Yeah. I mean, in the industrial usage, that's also obviously one thing which is very important, because also there you have to protect your hearing. So yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
So it's generally it's been. I mean, I've been talking to quite a few people today who I just sort of met around here, and just telling them about it, and everybody loved the idea. It was a beautiful cassette. I mean, for me too. I saw it. I think I ordered it on the same day I found out about it, because I just thought, hey, this is great. I've got a chance of sleeping in the bedroom again.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. As I said, there is such a big need for it, and so many people who suffer from the same problem.
So yeah, I mean, I had a look at the market. You know, obviously, when you see something like that, you find out what is also on the market. I looked at the Bose ones, which is the American company, and but that's not the same. It looks similar, but they use white noise, which is like. Instead of cutting out the noise, it's like playing a different noise, so that you don't hear the snoring. You hear then, I don't know, birds flying or something like that. It's not really what I would understand as having a quiet night. You're just listening to different noises. And so I looked at the Bose, I tried them out in a shop, and I could see it working for people, but I didn't think that was for me.
Yeah. I mean, it always depends on what you want. If you want silence, if you want quietude, then QuietOn would be right for you.
Yeah.
And if you, well, I mean, maybe there are some people who prefer to fall asleep with some windmill sound instead, but what do they have? Fireplace.
But wood crackling. And,
But
now another thing which was important to me is a lot of people are worried about electronic magnet radiation interference. You know that some people have problems putting Bluetooth headsets because they're afraid of the radiation from these devices. The Bose ones use Bluetooth to connect to the mobile phone and something, and to transmit the stuff. And a lot of people are worried and concerned about putting radiation devices so close to your brain. And so what was appealing to me about the QuietOn device is that there is no transmitting part in it. There's no Bluetooth, so you can't use it to listen to music. It is just a little microphone and a speaker and some electronics to invert the frequencies, so you cut out the noise. And I thought that was actually very good that you did not make them with Bluetooth for listening to the radio or whatever, or music. Yeah,
so you don't have to worry about your health or safety or anything, because there is no radiation involved with those earplugs.
I felt I should mention that, because that was, for me personally, because I'm quite a health conscious person. I know, well, not only me, I would have had problems getting my wife to accept it, because she's very afraid of sort of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all those things. And I said, none of that in here, it just cuts the noise out. So
that's how it is.
That's basically a good thing. Another question which people have asked is, well, I'm sleeping, I can't hear the snoring, I'm having a wonderful night. That damn alarm clock, will I hear it or not?
You will hear the alarm clock, because that is high frequency. So, and as I said already, so the product focuses or blocks especially the low frequency noises. So no need to worry about sleeping too long and missing the train to work, for example.
Right, okay. And if your partner wants to talk to you, is that okay?
Well, if he lies right next to you, you will definitely hear him.
Well, in my case, it would be a she, but let me be honest. Women have a higher frequency voice than men, so I think the chances. So if you have a really deep speaking guy, maybe it's difficult to hear. But I don't know, but certainly. So generally, I'm here, and let me just say, I don't work for QuietOn. They're not paying me for this. I'm just here because I find the product interesting and great. And I'm before today, I'd never met anybody from the company. I had exchanged a few emails and messages, and apparently I've got a good reputation at that company, because when they announced the delay in the delivery of the company, the first time they announced the delay, and I think they were really nervous about that, announcing that. And I was the first to get on there and say, look, let's put this in context. Every Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign, there are delays. You've got to expect it. And if there's just a minor delay, it's normal. And not to worry, and just make us a great product. And I think that really went down well in Ula.
Yeah, it did, So thank you so much for your continuous support, really. It means a lot to us. So what happens when people write messages on your board? Do you all read it, or is it just? Yeah, we do read them, obviously. We reply to them, and we explain the situation, and and then we will get there soon. Now,
one thing I did comment on earlier to these people is that the few videos which they've been releasing so far have been like 15 seconds long. And we kind of want longer videos. We want to see the people, we want to understand it, and 15 seconds just showing some device in the corner does not really cut it. We want to understand it. Maybe look out the window and see the snow and
see the real Finland.
Just get an idea of what it looks like in the company. Who are these people we're backing, giving money to?
Thank you so much. We will work on that. It's good to hear those kind of suggestions as well. So Well,
I honestly think it's a good idea, and And QuietOn.com is the website. I'm sure that you'll have distributors around the world.
Yeah, and you can pre-order, and we will ship to wherever you are globally. So, yeah.
Right, sounds good. Well, say I'm not pre-ordered. I've already pre-ordered. I'm getting 2, I think, next month. I'm really great to be here. Thank you, Julia, for this interview.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I really look forward to get it.
Yeah.
And
great.
so goodbye from Cologne in Germany.
Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which means goodbye in German.
Yeah.
Bye.
Heippa in Finnish.
Au revoir in French.